I rushed into my apartment, picked up my phone and tried calling him. He didn't pick initially, so I kept calm. Few minutes later, he called back and asked if I got the little thing he sent to me. I told him, little. He laughed and told me, let's do this some other time. He really had a beautiful evening with me. I smiled while listening to him and he hung up. I was still blown away. I didn't have my bath that night. I stayed in my living room for hours, writing down things this 500,000 would do for me. Practically almost all my issues were solved in just one outing. I didn't hear from Donald for a few weeks, but my yeye boyfriend kept coming. We would make out, we would spend time, but even sitting next to him would remind me of Donald. And when I would look at my boyfriend, I would just term him waste of time. My boyfriend started noticing the down energy I was giving him. So he asked if he did anything wrong or if he had offended me. And I would wave my head each time he would ask. Even the intimacy time was so awkward because even the breath from his mouth would send my nose on alignment. Things I didn't notice before, I started to notice them. Even the way his back was shaped was a literal turn-off to me. The shape of his head was a literal turn-off to me. The way he smiled and his brown teeth would just make me sad. I was a stupid, understanding girlfriend to this broke boyfriend of mine. Never for once did he ever take me out on a fancy date. The only thing I had gained from the beginning of this relationship was an elevated BP and recurring infections. Don't get me started with the sweet nothings from his mouth. The next month, I found out that I was pregnant for him, and I did not hesitate removing that pregnancy because I could not risk my future or my unborn children, especially understanding and experiencing such money and good luck I got from Donald weeks ago. Yes, my boyfriend would tell me of the dreams he would have whereby he was carrying a baby and someone would snatch the baby from his hands. All I would just do was just to watch him narrate whatever he was narrating. I cared less to know. Yes, I didn't want to sound or look so desperate to Donald, but I kept wishing he would invite me or call me or something. One of the days while coming back from work, he called me that he saw me somewhere and that it reminded him of the day we spent together. That was at the restaurant. I was excited. He then suggested that his driver would come pick me up and take me to his house. I rushed home that day, called my workplace, took excuse that I would not be able to come for 2 days. It was granted. My goal was to achieve that wealth at all costs. How on earth would I test prosperity in that manner and let it slide? That night, I wore an extremely revealing clothes. His driver came to my place, picked me and took me to his house. On getting to his mansion, I was blown away for the second time. From his gate man to his domestic staff, they kept looking at me as though they saw an alien. I decided not to take it much into consideration. He came into the room, that's the living room where I was waiting for him. He gave me a lustful eye. I knew he was looking at my cleavage. It was all as planned. He came in and demanded that I follow him to his cinema room. We got there and we were all alone there. The perfect privacy for an intimate bonding.